following is a presentation of the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. Live from Mellow Mushroom in the Cornerstone District in Lynchburg, Virginia, the Liberty Flames football show is on the air. Your chance to hear from Liberty head football coach Jamey Chadwell comes your way on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. The Liberty football show is presented by Freedom First Credit Union. Start banking with Freedom First today. The Liberty Football Show is also brought to you by Carter Bank and Trust, the preferred community bank of Liberty Flames Athletics. Earthright Mid-Atlantic, your trusted solar and energy efficiency experts. By Foster Fuels, providing reliable service for 100 years. Freedom Heating and Air, serving those who serve us. Carl Miller Realty, caring, competent, trusted advisors. The North American Mission Board, learn to live your life on mission through a Gen-Send experience. And by Sentry Exteriors, experience and quality you can trust. Schedule a free estimate at sentryexteriors.com. Have a question or comment for one of our guests? Email lfsn@liberty.edu or post a message at LFSN Radio on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Snap to Bennett, drops back in the pocket, looking to throw. Dancing at the 10, throws near side. It's going to be caught on the near sideline. Fight him up. Touchdown, Liberty. The tight end, Austin Henderson.
Now, let's talk Liberty Flames football. Here's your host, the voice of the Flames, Alan York.
And a good Thursday night, everyone. Welcome inside Mellow Mushroom for tonight's Liberty football show with head coach Jamey Chadwell. I'm Alan York, and we've got Liberty football for the next hour as we get ready for the season and home opener Saturday, 12 noon, as the Flames host Bowling Green. It's okay. You can cheer more if you want to. College football is back, and we cannot wait for the season and home opener coming up on Saturday. Lots of ways to access the show here tonight. You can watch us on our newly created Facebook page, LFSN Radio. You can search that on Facebook. You can also email us, lfsn@liberty.edu. For those in Mellow Mushroom tonight, the first 10 tables got free appetizers. Let's hear if you got some appetizers tonight. And some great pizza here at Mellow Mushroom. I know I'm waiting for the show to be over to partake in one of those, and we can't wait. Also, we have a pitcher here, and we're going to give away a $50 gift card to Mellow Mushroom. I've got it right here. And you can put your name in our pitcher here. We'll draw it out towards the end of the show. So a $50 gift card to Mellow Mushroom, and compliments to our great friends here at Mellow Mushroom, our new partner with our radio show each Thursday night. We'll be here talking Liberty Flames football. The star of the show, though, is not me. It's head coach Jamey Chadwell. He is here. Let's give Coach a round of applause. And, Coach, thanks for coming out here tonight. How about this crowd here on our first show? This is incredible.
It's outstanding. I'm a little intimidated, to be honest with you. This is great. My previous show that I was on, there was about 20 people there total. So I'm excited. Now you got to keep showing up though if things don't go well.
There you go. And we'll be here every Thursday, 7 to 8 p.m. And again, once I heard that opening billboard start for this show, it just got me going, Coach. I can only imagine you and your team and how ready y'all are to go through those gates at Williams Stadium Saturday. Your first time on the home sideline coming through there. We're glad you're here, but just the excitement around your team entering game one on Saturday.
Yeah, we are. I mean, looking forward to it. It's been, we started August, 2nd is what it was, and you're allowed to have 25 practices leading up to it, and we've obviously had a lot of challenges through camp. But our team's excited about being out at Williams and the opportunity that we have Saturday to kick off this 50th season and obviously have 7 home games. And we talk a lot about taking care of, protecting our house. And so it's they're ready to go against somebody else.
You met with the media earlier this week, and you mentioned you were anxious. You want to get to the nervous point. Are you there yet for Saturday? And you said when you become not as anxious anymore, I know my team, I know I'm ready to go. How about 48 hours before kickoff?
Yeah, we're ready. The practices is continue to get better and better. I think the mindset's where it needs to be. There's obviously going to be some challenges that we'll face, and some up and downs, but I know our team is physically ready to go. We're confident they're mentally ready to go. Now we got to go out and do it, and we're playing a great opponent, but that's why you love the competition. So I know we're ready to go out and play well.
Coach, I want to take this first segment to kind of peel the onion back about you and your career being from East Tennessee, and where did your love for football start?
Well, that started early. My father was a high school coach for a long time, middle school, high school. My mom thought she was a coach, so I grew up around it. We grew up in a small town. My father was my head football coach. He was my head baseball coach. He was assistant basketball coach, and so everything that we did revolved around obviously sports. And from an early age, I remember going to his practices and being around the game. And it's something that I knew early on when I was 18 years old that I wanted to stay involved with it somehow.
Yeah.
And it's obviously provided a great opportunity, but just the sport teaches you so many things and it reveals so many things about you, and that's why I love it.
Outside of your dad getting into coaching once you left East Tennessee State, who were some of those role models for you that kind of wrapped you and put you under their wing as far as coaching goes?
Well, I really had I had one in high school that really showed me, I thought, a different way of doing things. And again, we're from Tennessee, and his name was Jack Daniels, so I'll take that. But he was my coordinator and a quarterback coach in high school, and just the way that he coached me, the way he taught me, I've remembered it to this day. And so he's somebody that I do try to model after. But then as you get into coaching, and you get into college and all those things. And I never want to be a college coach. I want to be a high school coach, to be honest with you. That was my dream. But then you start, all right, this is my personality. This is how I believe things. And then you start looking at coaches that try to do it similar, or you're trying to copy. And so there's different guys. But Paul Hamilton was a guy that I played for at college and who gave me the understanding of some of the offense that we do. And then Jay Mills, when I was an assistant at Charleston Southern, did a great job as far as just helping me grow as a person. And so those are two that I played for or coached with that showed me a lot of wisdom and how to be a coach, and I give those two credit for that.
I've really enjoyed getting to know your staff, Jamey, since you took the job in December, and how you've developed that, and you build relationships with those guys and your players, and you brought a lot of guys with you, and developing the staff. How unique is that for a coach? And you have your friends in the business that are good coaches as well. So how do you go about developing the staff and getting guys to get on the same page with your philosophies, and you learn from those guys as well?
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing is for a staff is to have consistency, continuity, right? Because the worst thing you can have is every year having turnover, and the players are learning somebody new, and they're learning how you want to do things. And we've been very fortunate. I was able to bring 17 people with me from previous place, but out of those 17, 14 of those have been with me almost a decade. Yeah. And so in different stops, some of them played for me, obviously, in different things. And so when that happens, they value the same thing you value. They understand how you want to do things. They understand how you want to treat the young men in our program and what we make important. We want to win, no doubt, but we're here beyond winning. We got a bigger purpose in that, and they all believe in that and live that out as well. And when you have that consistency, then the players see that, and they see there's a genuineness and a sincerity. And I think that's why we've been able to have some success at different places, because that staff, we've had a lot of continuity with that.
We're joined by head coach Jamey Chadwell. Liberty football opens up its season on Saturday, 12 noon, against Bowling Green on the CBS Sports Network. Our pregame radio coverage comes your way at 10:30. We'll take our first break here, and we have a microphone up here, so if any fans at Mellow Mushroom would like to ask Coach a question, feel free to walk up, and we'll get you on the microphone. And it's important to note, each and every radio show presented by our good friends at Freedom First Credit Union. They are in the house, and we'll be talking to Brent Jenkins with Freedom First Credit Union coming up towards the bottom of the hour. We'll take our first time out here. When we come back, we'll take a dive into this 2023 football team with head coach Jamey Chadwell. This is Liberty Football from Van Wagner.
What's important isn't that Freedom First has been in business since 1956. What's important is how we've been doing business since 1956. Since day one, we have been accountable to our members, not stockholders. We make loans that cost less, offer savings plans that pay more, and give back to our community, and that hasn't changed. What has changed is our ability to serve you with more locations and more technology to simplify your financial life. Freedom First. It's a place where anyone in our region can bank for good.
Everybody says they want to do it, but how many people ever really change the world? GenSend shows students just like you how to live life on mission. GenSend offers real-life ministry opportunities in cities all across North America. Work alongside believers who are really changing the world. Spend your school break on mission and learn how to be a champion for Christ. Go to gensend.org to learn more.
You're listening to the Liberty Flames Football Show, presented by Freedom First Credit Union on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.
Turn up the heat. Foster Fuels is a proud partner of Liberty Athletics. Fostering warm moments for 100 years, Foster has been providing exceptional propane and gas services throughout Central Virginia and surrounding areas. From propane to fireplaces and tank installs to tankless water heaters, Foster does it all. Visit fosterfuels.com or download the app to order fuel, pay your bill, and more. Get the customer service you deserve and turn up the heat with Foster Fuels in the Liberty Flames.
Earthright Mid-Atlantic, your trusted solar and energy efficiency experts. With a focus on honesty, education, and excellence, they light the way to savings, home comfort, and a greener future. Educating homeowners about the power of solar and energy efficiency is their winning game plan. Give Earthright Mid-Atlantic a call today at 434-200-9716 or visit erepower.com.
Welcome back to the Liberty Flames Football Show, presented by Freedom First Credit Union on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. Have a question or comment for one of our guests? Email lfsn@liberty.edu or post a message at LFSN Radio on X, formerly known as Twitter. Now, once again, here's the voice of the Flames, Alan York.
And tonight we are rocking and rolling from Mellow Mushroom in Lynchburg for the Liberty Football Show with head coach Jamey Chadwell, presented by Freedom First Credit Union. We'll be here till 8 o'clock talking Liberty Flames football. The season and home opener for Liberty coming up on Saturday against Bowling Green. Both teams went bowling a year ago, and looking forward to that game on Saturday. For those tuning in either on our audio stream or our Facebook video stream, be sure to log on to lufootball.com. We are working through some gremlins, as I like to call it, with our website, libertyflames.com, but go to lufootball.com for football information and also our social media pages, Instagram, X, Facebook, at Liberty Football. Joined by head coach Jamey Chadwell, and coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll be talking to Brent Jenkins with our good friends at Freedom First Credit Union, our presenting sponsor of our Liberty Football Show. All right, Jamey, let's talk about this team. And you've inherited some players. You've also brought in some new players as well. About 50% turnover, and that has happened a lot around the country with the transfer portal and different things like that. Let's start with your quarterback. I know we're not going to know until kickoff, but let's talk about who you've had to work with there. And you and Willie Korn working with those quarterbacks, tutoring them. We'll start with Jonathan Bennett, return guy, been here a long time, and one that you developed a relationship with your previous stop, being from down there in the Low Country, Summerville, South Carolina. Seems to be just a fan favorite, team favorite, and I know one of the leaders on your team.
Yeah, Jonathan is. Jonathan's had a really good, spring and summer through camp. He's been consistent. He does have a great rapport among the offensive line and in the locker room there. And he's been here so long that he has a great understanding of the ups and downs of football, right? And I think he's been a really good mentor too, because we had 5-6 quarterbacks that were obviously competing for the job, and then he narrowed it down. But regardless, there he's been a good leader for all that group, just going through the ups and downs of battling for a position.
Caden Salter, third year in the program. Last year had some explosive moments and got the injury bug bite him a little bit. but he has looked healthy and looks like he's ready to contribute as well.
Yeah, Caden has really done a good job. In the spring, I thought he was very up and down, just from not from his talent standpoint, but just the buy-in that he needs to be a top-level quarterback. But he's really made a good turn through the summer and this fall camp of being locked in consistently, more focused, and not relying solely on just that athletic ability. We know he's got great athletic ability, but also can get him in trouble. And that's the biggest area that his improvement needed to be, was just maturity and understanding what it takes. And we've been pleased. Our staff's been pleased with the direction that he's made since then. From that spring and having that opportunity there and saying, hey, this is where you're at. If you want to have a chance to compete, you got to get to this point. And he's done what we've asked him to do from there. And then, as you said, his talent is very high. If he can limit some of those mistakes that he made during the season last year, if he gets an opportunity, then he can be a really good player.
Also, Trey Lowe, transfer in from Southern Miss. He also spent some time at West Virginia. I did a podcast about once a week with about 8 or 9 of your players, Jamey, this summer. And you talk about a guy working on his doctorate right now.
Dr. Lowe.
And that is phenomenal. And what have you seen from his development since you had him on campus?
Trey's he's been great. He came in and a new system, not know, out of all the quarterbacks, he was the new one.
Right.
And not knowing when we got here, not knowing the situation, not knowing it was Bennett going to come back, that was up in the air, and we knew Caden had been injured. So we, as a coaching staff, we like, hey, we need to get somebody that's played some football, that is mature. That if whatever happens, we have somebody that can at least take a snap that we know of. And Trey's been tremendous. He really worked his tail off to get better shape, to work on things he needed to work on, and had a great summer and fall, and it put him in a strong consideration to be the guy. He really did, and so we've been really pleased with him, and he's been tremendous in the locker room. And they call him Dr. Lowe,
right,
because I think he's 24, whatever he is, but he's been awesome. Trey's a great one. Trey's going to end up being a coach. I don't know why if he's going to be a doctor, but he's been an unbelievable addition to us on the field, but more importantly off of it. He's been tremendous.
You mentioned the locker room, Jamey, and this week I'm going to tip a cap to our creative team. It's the best in the country, and there was some graphics that came out. You have kind of a culture council. You got captains. A lot of those superlatives came out this week. How do you go about developing not what you want to announce, but about these players how are they voted on these particular teams, and kind of break that down for us?
So we released, our captains. There was 5 captains that got picked. Normally we do 4, but the players vote on that, and it was so close. The 4th and 5th spot literally was 1 vote. And so we determined as a staff, hey, we'll let all 5. And then what we call our unity council, that's basically our positional leaders, guys that by position, that the position guys vote on. Who do you want representing you on this council that will obviously do a great job. It also represents what we stand for, and that's what our unity council is. And we select 2 freshmen, one on each side of the ball, that we hopefully can develop from that. And that's what came out. And the captains is a great honor because it is among the whole team. And what we share with them is, hey, listen, you're not voting for a guy that can play or a guy that you think is this or that. It's a guy that represents what we want to be and who we are and how we want to do things here. And to me, it's the greatest honor you have on our team because it is voted by the team.
Yeah.
And we picked 5, and I think all 5 have a chance to be great leaders. They're obviously are good players as well, but they have the voice in the locker room. And as a new coach taking over, I've taken over. That's my 5th head coaching job, and I've taken over 3 programs that are losing and 2 that are winning.
Right.
And it's a lot harder to take over that winning program. Yep. And so those captains have to be your voice for you because things aren't going to go the way you want them to go. And they're always going to look back, well, we did it this way, and those captains have to be our strong voice to say, hey, this is how we do things.
And talking to some of those guys I did some podcasts with, Coach, they talked about that during the summer and about how they were getting to learn your staff and vice versa. And as we got through these conversations towards August, everybody was pulling on that rope together. Not to say they weren't during the spring, but how have you seen that develop and getting your system in and getting guys to buy into what you want to do?
We've made great strides. I think when we first got here, there was a lot of pulling opposite directions, and I'm not going to lie and I think we have 100% everybody pulling the same direction. There's still some that are probably on that line. Or, hey, if we win, coach, we're in. If we don't, I'm going to say, oh, we would have won. I think there's still something a little bit out there, but it's way closer to everybody being bought into what we're asking them to do. And continue to earn the trust of the players and being consistent. That's why that consistency with your coaching staff. But, when we got through the spring, I knew there was this is a different way of doing it, and we obviously had a lot of people leave and all that, which was fine because they weren't bought in. But the ones that have stayed through our summer training, everything's new. Today's practice, a Thursday practice, was completely new to every one of them except the ones that have been with us before, and then tomorrow, Friday's practice, and how we do Friday, completely new. So everything's completely new, and even the game day, that's new except for the plan, and so we're still going through that process, and to me, that's the disadvantage we have compared to our opponent, just because it is new for our guys and how we handle the Fridays and the Saturdays, and so there's still a little learning curve there. And again, that's where that captain, those councils have to be locked in and say, hey, this is how we do things. And they will determine how good we are this year because there'll be challenges that we face, and they have to meet those challenges head on.
We're talking Liberty football here tonight with head coach Jamey Chadwell. Our show presented by Freedom First Credit Union. We'll take our next time out on the show here and come back. We'll still continue our chat about the offense. We'll talk about the running backs, the wide receivers, and the offensive line. And we'll be here till 8 o'clock. And again, if you haven't signed up or put your name in the jar for our $50 gift card from Mellow Mushroom, we'll continue plugging that here for the next 15 or 20 minutes. This is Liberty football from Van Wagner.
At Carter Bank & Trust, we believe in a life lived full of plans, promise, and continuous growth. It's why our checking and savings accounts make it easy for you to earn high interest on your balance, so your money grows faster, all backed with the digital banking tools you need, so there's nothing holding you back from living life to the fullest. Open your new Carter Bank checking or savings account online in minutes at cbtcares.org or visit your local branch. We are Carter Bank, the preferred community bank of Liberty Athletics, member FDIC.
Curious about the Central Virginia housing market? Carl Miller Realty are your caring, competent, trusted advisors for real estate sales in Central Virginia. With over 100 years of combined experience, they are committed to helping clients make informed housing decisions. For a winning game plan and to discover the value of your home, visit carlmillerrealty.com to make your next move a slam dunk.
You're listening to the Liberty Flames football show presented by Freedom First Credit Union on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.
Clearly, this summer is like so many in the past, really hot. Freedom Heating and Air wants to make sure your home is the cool and relaxing retreat it can be. Freedom Heating and Air offers same-day service appointments in and around Lynchburg, Rustburg, Amherst, and Smith Mountain Lake. And they'll work on your cooling issues even if you've never used them before. Is your air conditioning system aging? Is your cooling system just not getting the job done? See what the dedicated, experienced team at Freedom Heating and Air can do for you. Call them at 434-331-3690.
Century Exteriors offers exterior home renovations, including but not limited to gutters, roofing, siding, home additions, and much more. Century Exteriors makes the process seamless. Call 434-239-6722 for a free on-site estimate or visit centuryexteriors.com and Century Exteriors on Facebook and Instagram. Century Exteriors is a proud supporter of Liberty Flames Athletics.
Welcome back to the Liberty Flames football show presented by Freedom First Credit Union on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. Have a question or comment for one of our guests? Email lfsn@liberty.edu or post a message at LFSN Radio on X, formerly known as Twitter. Now, once again, here's the voice of the Flames, Alan York.
And back inside Mellow Mushroom we are tonight for our radio show, Liberty Football on the air and on our Facebook live stream. Each show brought to you by Freedom First Credit Union. We're talking to Liberty head coach Jamey Chadwell, and coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll be chatting with Brent Jenkins from our presenting sponsor, Freedom First Credit Union. All right, Coach, let's continue on with our offensive kind of preview here. We talked about the quarterbacks. Running backs, completely new room that you have brought in, and some transfers and some new guys like Von Blue out of Charleston, South Carolina area. So what do you like about the running backs? I know they play a vital role in your offense.
They do, and we lost some good players in there. Malik Caper got hurt in the spring, so somebody that we were think there was going to be a guy there, and he's obviously hurt, got lower body injury. He's really making a great recovery, so we expect him back sooner rather than later. But they're all brand new. The thing I do think that's probably offensively, arguably our most talented group. We've got a good mix of inside and outside guys there, and we needed to revamp that. And we tried to get some young guys that can do a little bit of both, inside, outside, and get some speed there. And so Quentin Cooley is that workhorse there that came from Wake Forest, who's going to be our starter. And then Vaughn Blue, the freshman, he's going to play quite a bit. Billy Lucas that transferred in this summer, he's going to play quite a bit. Victor Venn will have a row that came from Colorado. He'll have a row. And then James Joyner is a kid that we brought in as well. He'll end up having a role as well. And so we'll play a lot of those guys there, and Coach Isaac does a good job with them. But they're going to be the key. Obviously, the O-line's got a block for them, but I think that we have a chance with those guys that if they can create us some holes, that they can get tough yardage, but also have some speed to hopefully take it the distance.
Now, Jamey, on the depth chart, and the depth chart is not secret. It's not under lock and key here. It's on our website. You have A and B backs, and you see that a lot with depth charts with option teams. You're not a complete option team. You have the spread in there as well, RPO. A and B backs. For our fans watching, tuning in your system, how are they going to differentiate between the two?
So we would love them to be C backs, which is combo. So we label them A and B. But an A back would be somebody like in your if we do pitch the ball with somebody we want to pitch it to that can take it to the house and go. Our B backs are more the box guys you hand it up inside the offensive line box and hopefully get the tough yardage. Right. And so you have a little mix there. And like if you have a guy that can do both, the combo, then you're cooking with grease, right? And so, but that's how we label those guys. And you'd like to have somebody do a little bit of both. Sometimes they might not be able to, but you try to scheme it enough to where, hey, this guy's good at this. We got to get him the ball doing those things, and that's how we'll work it.
You mentioned some of these guys, Jamey, and some of them came out of the transfer portal. Take our fans inside the portal. What is it like for a coach to see who's in there and communicating with these guys? And on the flip side, what's it like for them to get in the portal, stay? Sometimes guys leave the portal to go back to their original school. So what can you share about it?
It's challenging. I got here in December, and obviously I'm here through the bowl prep. There was already some guys already in the portal when I got here, for whatever reason. And then you're here, and you're trying to learn people's names while the previous staff is finishing up the bowl game. And some guys didn't give you a chance at all. They say, hey, we're going to the portal because my coach left. And then through the spring, you're implementing your system. Then some guys leave, and so the NCAA creates this portal there, and you can access it all year long, and it tells you by position and what year they have left and all the different things. And there's companies now that give you all kinds of details. Okay. And so it's become a multi-million-dollar business for some of these companies. And so the challenge is, the hardest part I think about all of it is. The way it's set up now is you might lose some of your team in December. Okay, then you have a chance to replace them. The hardest part is in the spring when you go through a spring practice and you think you have some team, and then they leave or not, and then now you got to try to bring guys in that weren't in your spring, and hopefully they can help you fill a need. That's a challenging part of it. And right now they can go in and they have basically 5 weeks in December, or 6 between December and January. Then they have 2 to 3 weeks in the April period to go in, and so you're honestly trying to get through the April period and hope you have a team through December, and then trying to figure it out again. And so the challenge is building your team. We want to build through high school. This year, necessity-wise, because of whether we're losing people to graduation, maybe there was a need. I'll use running back for example. Vaughn Blue was the first high school running back signed in 4 years here. Yep. And so you're trying to develop some of those different things there, and some of those. So we're trying to balance the high school and the transfers to make sure we get our depth where it needs to be, and then hopefully we'll build through high school. And then if we need to plug in a guy because we lose somebody, then that's what you do.
You mentioned Vaughn Blue, who you had talked about. We maybe wanted to redshirt him, but he's done so much in practices and in the spring that he has to see the field. A younger guy like that, what skill set does he bring that just says you guys just can't keep him on the sideline?
And there's about 3 or 4 freshmen that in our mind, that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
We want to redshirt him and build for the future and still try to win now. But he came in, and typically as a freshman, most of them have the physical tools.
Okay.
But they don't have the mental capability of picking it up or the grind of what a season is or a spring. And he's been tremendous in both areas. He's ready to go as a freshman. He understands how to pick up blitzes, all those different things. He'll make mistakes, but like he's physically and mentally ready to handle, as a freshman, a college schedule, which is impressive. A lot of them they struggle with, whether it's being away from home or whatever it may be, or maybe physically they're not ready where they need to be. And so it's been good for him. Again, we wanted to try to redshirt as many freshmen as we could to build our program,
right.
And there's a lot that we're going to be able to, I believe. But there's some that might have to play based off of depth and some of those things, and that's life where you're at right now, because that's the downside of the portal. We might lose some guys, and we don't have an older guy that can maybe come in and play, and those freshmen have to come in and play, and some of them are ready, some of them are not, but that's how it is.
Trial by fire. Go Liberty Flames. How about the wide receiver group? 2 names coming back our fans will recognize, C.J. Daniels, Noah Frith. But you also have some other transfers in that I know you're excited to see how they perform. How do the wide receivers fit in your style of offense, Coach?
Yeah, well, they're going to get a lot of, because of a run game, they're going to get a lot of one-on-one opportunities where they got a chance to really make some explosive plays, and they got to be able to win those. We're going to get some man coverage where if we can win that, we got a chance to be explosive, and they got a chance to put up some big numbers based off of how we try to call plays in some of those. That's probably, from an offensive standpoint, our biggest, question mark. You mentioned Noah and CJ. They both have been banged up leading into this. We lost 2 guys in the summer to injuries, and that was the biggest area that and running back were the biggest areas we wanted to try to improve just based off of depth and production. And those injuries in the summer put us back, and then these guys being just banged up through the fall camp, the timing of it. But I do think we have some guys there that have a chance to make some plays. E.J. Smoot we brought in, and he's a guy that was at UT Martin that we think can make some plays for us. We mentioned C.J., we mentioned Noah. Kylan Austin's a guy that's been here who has a lot of speed, and so we're hoping with Kylan that as he continues to play, he didn't play at all really last year. He has game-changing ability. He just has to be consistent with that. So we like what he's shown so far. We brought in Aaron Bedgood when we got all those guys injured. He played for us at our previous institution, and so he's somebody that knows our system, so we can plug and play in case somebody does get banged up. So there's a lot of I don't want to say question marks there, but there's a lot of guys that are going to get some opportunities. I think the guy that I've been impressed with most is Trayon Sibley. He didn't say much. If he was standing right here, you wouldn't know it. But he just quietly shows up and does a good job for us. And I think you'll see him make some good plays for us.
How about the tight ends? You're looking at Austin Henderson, Bentley Hanshaw, a couple of returners from a year ago that I know the tight end's a vital part in your offense as well.
It is, and those 2 guys have done a really good job since we got here. They're going to have huge roles. We're going to play quite a bit of tight ends, different formations with whether it's 1, 2, sometimes 3 in there. And those 2 are the guys that have had great camps and understand what we're trying to do and the pass game and the run game. Billy DeRocher's a guy that's somebody that we can use in definitely short yardage situations and things of that nature. And then we have a freshman that we're really excited about, Bo Burklow. He got hurt a little bit, hurt his hamstring. And so he's somebody that you could see play. We're allowed to play freshmen or guys that have not been redshirted. You're allowed to play them up to 4 games.
Right.
So he's a guy that could potentially, if injuries or some of that, maybe could get 4 games. He's somebody, again, we'd like to hold if possible, but, that'll dictate based off what happens.
You mentioned a minute ago, Jamey, about the offensive line. You're going to be only as good as that group is going to block and open up some holes and protect the quarterback. Brennan Schlittler, 3-year starter, goes down with a knee injury. You move Xavier Gadlin inside a little bit. So the development with Coach Durkin and that group, where are they right now as you enter Game 1 coming up on Saturday?
Those guys have to be the key. We do have some experienced guys. John Graham's played quite a bit. Obviously, Xavier's played quite a bit. Xavier Gray came from Akron. He started at Akron, so he's not played with us, but he's played some football, high-level football. And then you've got Jordan White, who came West Virginia, who got here in the spring and has done a great job at center. So he's played some. Obviously, it'll be the most he's ever played, but we feel confident because he's got Xavier and John beside him. And then Chase Mitchell's a guy that's been in the program here for a while, been coached for a while. He's played some, and so we're excited about him. That those 5 have been consistent there. Losing Schlittler was a challenging time, but we've allowed some guys to step up. And as you can see, we've got 2 freshmen there in the depth chart, not by probably what we want to have. They're in the 2 deep, but because of necessity, some of those injuries. But we brought some guys in to try to help develop. But this group here we've got 7 guys that we really feel like we can put in there that can help us, and we're only going to be as good as they are.
Another shout out, Jamey, to our podcast team. We do a podcast by our Flame Central staff, Matt Warner, Emily Austin, Joe Yock. They do a great job. And you had shared with him this week that Coach Durkin has kind of the championship for this week.
He does.
Anything you can share to our fans about, keep things close to the vest,
yeah,
but about that?
I can't share too much because then people turn me in. I got turned into PETA one time, and so I got to be careful on that. We did have a live chicken, but I'll tell you all that later. But what we do every week, we play for, when you're playing for a championship, it's important, right? So we play for a championship every week, and it'll be based off a theme and whatever the theme that we come up with that week. Our word for this week is trust, and so it'll be similar to something to that. But then Coach Durkin actually coached at Bowling Green for a while, was offensive line coach there, so we gave that to him, and he does a really good job, did a video, and so after the game, when we win, we'll have a championship celebration in there, yeah, that's all I'm going to share.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't want to give it away too much.
No,
I don't want to get in trouble either.
Some things are meant to stay inside that locker room, and I know the guys will play really hard coming up on Saturday. We're going to let you take a little break here, Coach, and we're going to bring in Brent Jenkins after our next commercial break. Again, for those out there in the audience, $50 gift card to Mellow Mushroom right here. Make sure you get your name in the picture, and we'll draw it out here coming up in a little bit. And also, on your way out, some great marketing tools here with schedule posters and magnets and stuff like that. So get some Liberty stuff on your way out. We'll take a timeout, and when we come back, we'll have Brent Jenkins with the Freedom First Credit Union, our presenting sponsor. This is Liberty Football from Van Wagner.
What's important isn't that Freedom First has been in business since 1956. What's important is how we've been doing business since 1956. Since day one, we have been accountable to our members, not stockholders. We make loans that cost less, offer savings plans that pay more, and give back to our community, and that hasn't changed. What has changed is our ability to serve you with more locations and more technology to simplify your financial life. Freedom First. It's a place where anyone in our region can bank for good.
Everybody says they want to do it, but how many people ever really change the world? GenSend shows students just like you how to live life on mission. GenSend offers real-life ministry opportunities in cities all across North America. Work alongside believers who are really changing the world. Spend your school break on mission and learn how to be a champion for Christ. Go to gensend.org to learn more.
You're listening to the Liberty Flames Football Show, presented by Freedom First Credit Union on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.
Turn up the heat. Foster Fuels is a proud partner of Liberty Athletics. Fostering warm moments for 100 years, Foster has been providing exceptional propane and gas services throughout Central Virginia and surrounding areas. From propane to fireplaces and tank installs to tankless water heaters, Foster does it all. Visit fosterfuels.com or download the app to order fuel, pay your bill, and more. Get the customer service you deserve and turn up the heat with Foster Fuels in the Liberty Flames.
Earthlight Mid-Atlantic, your trusted solar and energy efficiency experts. With a focus on honesty, education, and excellence, they light the way to savings, home comfort, and a greener future. Educating homeowners about the power of solar and energy efficiency is their winning game plan. Give Earthlight Mid-Atlantic a call today at 434-200-9716 or visit erepower.com.
Welcome back to the Liberty Flames Football Show presented by Freedom First Credit Union on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. Have a question or comment for one of our guests? Email lfsn@liberty.edu or post a message at LFSN Radio on X, formerly known as Twitter. Now, once again, here's the voice of the Flames, Alan York.
All right. Back inside Mellow Mushroom in Lynchburg here tonight for our weekly radio show. First one of the year. We're on Facebook. We're on our audio stream as well, and we'll be on the radio. Coming up Saturday, Liberty hosting a Bowling Green season and home opener. Who's got their tickets in Mellow Mushroom here tonight for the game? All right. LUfootball.com, the place to go to get your tickets for the season and home opener. Season tickets as well, going really well too. And on your way out, don't forget to get a Liberty schedule magnet, some posters on your way home, and we'll be drawing. Let's do this right now. We're joined by Brent Jenkins. Say hello, Brent.
Hey.
Good to have you on. Brent Jenkins, the Lynchburg Market Manager Executive for Freedom First Credit Union, our presenting sponsor of our weekly radio show. All right, Brent, pressure's on. Now, what we're doing here, we're going to give away a $50 gift card to Mellow Mushroom. Who do we have here? Jason Porter won the gift card. Come on down. That's not rigged, I promise you. Jason is here not on official business, but as a fan, one of the biggest fans we have. Here you go, Jason. And we'll hear more from JP coming up on Saturday. And don't forget, the first 10 tables get free appetizers for every show. So JP won that $50 gift card. And nice job, Brent. Way to go. How about that?
I think lunch is going to be on Jason next
It will
time.
be. I'm going to get a piece of that as well. All right, Brent Jenkins from Freedom First Credit Union, good friends of the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner, doing some great things in the community, Brent. And Freedom First is just continuing to blossom and to grow. And give us the origin of Freedom First and the market here in Lynchburg and why you guys are having a lot of success building relationships in the area.
Yeah, so, we were headquartered in Roanoke, which is where I worked after college going to Liberty, and been around for about 65 years. It's a low to moderate income credit union designation, which means we have a community development department that's kind of separates us from the banking world and do a lot of different things in that. So we expanded to Lynchburg 2 years ago. Started with me just driving down the car, meeting with whoever I could get a meeting with, and I think we're up to 10 employees now and about $250 million in assets. We got our first branch opened out on Langhorne Road in April, and we've got Timberlake and Forest coming right behind that. Excited about Timberlake. We're working through some LOIs. We bought the old TGI Fridays building, so we're working through some LOIs. We'll do that, a split the credit union on one side and probably some type of ice cream shop, some type of triple net national tenant we're working at right now.
Yeah, I see Brad Butler, part of your staff here. He told me he likes the ice cream. So,
yeah, that's the problem with all those LOIs we're looking at. They're all not good for you from a health standpoint. So, if anybody's got any healthy ones out there, maybe let us know. We'll look at those. But excited about that location.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
So, see a lot of your signs in the area. You're working with a lot of businesses, a lot of clients. When somebody rides by your sign, it's marketing for one, but also showing the success you're having in the area. What goes into developing those relationships for Freedom First Credit Union?
Yeah, we do a lot of everything from construction to renovation to when it comes to the real estate, we also do the owner-occupied business side and private banking, mortgage, you name it, and then the regular branch services as well. We really like taking a lot of those buildings that are kind of old and run down and breathing new life into them. And, of course, you got to partner with the developer that knows what they're doing, to get that done. It's a two-way street. Sometimes there's historic tax credits involved, things like that. But we've got a lot of projects, that have been involved. And it is great marketing because it shows, we're putting local dollars back into the community and making an investment in the community. And, we also, usually give back around 10 to 12% of our, net income each year into the community, whether it's, donations through things like Liberty Athletics or nonprofits that we take to the basketball or football games, and $100 for every free throw for a nonprofit. So, we're quite popular during football, basketball season in the nonprofit world as well. They're soliciting us out pretty early now to go for that. So it's a real unique partnership.
Well, you're popular within the Liberty family as well, joined by Brent Jenkins from Freedom First Credit Union, the presenting sponsor of our Jamey Chadwell radio show every Thursday here at Mellow Mushroom. The partnership with Liberty, it's going on 2-3 years now. That continues to blossom and to grow. We enjoy having you on. What have you enjoyed about the relationship with the Liberty Flames? Yeah,
it's been great. For me personally, being a grad and seeing how far the athletics program has come since 2007, when I graduated, and it's been neat to kind of see us have zero presence at all in the market, but then come in and that also incorporate the relationship with Liberty and the Liberty community. We've done very well there. We've had a lot of checking accounts, a lot of things, business that goes together with that. So it's been good. It's also good to support the the university, just because there's so much more community support. You find it these days, and it's nice to connect both sides of the community, which we're able to do a lot. Take a lot of customers to games, and it's just been neat to see how it's really developed the last couple of years, and we're excited to keep growing that.
So as we wrap things up with Brent Jenkins with Freedom First Credit Union, we'll have Jamey Chadwell back on here to wrap up our show. For those fans tuning in that want to find more information on Freedom First Credit Union, how they go about doing that?
Yeah, it's on all the social media channels and freedomfirst.com website. And our marketing and team is really first class for local to regional level organizations. So, we're always putting out great content out there and great products and services, and love to have you read up about us, and feel free to catch us if you have any questions.
And you're at every game, it seems like, every one of our radio shows. Brent Jenkins, Freedom First Credit Union. Brent, appreciate the time here tonight. And
thanks,
go Flames. That's Brent Jenkins, Freedom First Credit Union. We'll take another time out of our weekly radio show. We'll wrap things up with the head coach, Jamey Chadwell, coming up in a couple minutes. This is Liberty Football from Van Wagner.
At Carter Bank and Trust, we believe in a life lived full of plans, promise, and continuous growth. It's why our checking and savings accounts make it easy for you to earn high interest on your balance, so your money grows faster, all backed with the digital banking tools you need, so there's nothing holding you back from living life to the fullest. Open your new Carter Bank checking or savings account online in minutes at cbtcares.org or visit your local branch. We are Carter Bank, the preferred community bank of Liberty Athletics, member FDIC.
Curious about the Central Virginia housing market? Carl Miller Realty are your caring, competent, trusted advisors for real estate sales in Central Virginia. With over 100 years of combined experience, they are committed to helping clients make informed housing decisions. For a winning game plan and to discover the value of your home, visit carlmillerrealty.com to make your next move a slam dunk.
You're listening to the Liberty Flames Football Show, presented by Freedom First Credit Union on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.
Clearly, this summer is like so many in the past, really hot. Freedom Heating and Air wants to make sure your home is the cool and relaxing retreat it can be. Freedom Heating and Air offers same-day service appointments in and around Lynchburg, Rustburg, Amherst, and Smith Mountain Lake. And they'll work on your cooling issues even if you've never used them before. Is your air conditioning system aging? Is your cooling system just not getting the job done? See what the dedicated, experienced team at Freedom Heating and Air can do for you. Call them at 434-331-3690.
Century Exteriors offers exterior home renovations, including but not limited to gutters, roofing, siding, home additions, and much more. Century Exteriors makes the process seamless. Call 434-239-6722 for a free on-site estimate or visit centuryexteriors.com and Century Exteriors on Facebook and Instagram. Century Exteriors is a proud supporter of Liberty Flames Athletics.
Back inside Mellow Mushroom here tonight, talking Liberty Flames football. I'm Alan York, and we're going to be joined once again by head coach Jamey Chadwell. And talk a little defense here, Jamey. During that break, did you get – I know you got some tea. Hopefully that's sweet. Or half and half.
Well, I'll tell you, whatever everybody thinks it is, we'll go with that.
All right, I got you. Did you get any food yet?
Not yet, but I've just been enjoying talking and seeing everybody here. It's been great. We'll eat a little bit later.
We got about 10 minutes left. I do want to talk defense. before we go, and a little special teams as well. Skylar McGee calling your defense, and Coach Krantz, I think, is helping with that game plan. How has that combination gone, and what have you seen from your defense so far here in camp?
They've done a good job, our coaches have, of developing an identity. Our defense calls themselves Red Smoke, and so that's just our identity, and we're trying to have a mentality when we go out there. Obviously, we've played really good defense here the last 2 or 3 years, and so we've got a couple guys that have played significant roles in that. But then we've really, the majority of the guys that will be playing for us Saturday have not played a lot of meaningful snaps, and that's the biggest, question mark. I do think we've got some talented guys over there, but the biggest question mark is the ones that haven't played as much. Will they rise up to that occasion, the first time, especially when maybe a play don't go the way they want it to. That's the biggest question mark when you have younger guys is in practice things go well and you script it to go well, but when things go bad, you can repeat it. Yeah. Don't get any repeats. But I do like the group. I think we've got some good depth on that side of the ball. Just some question marks as far as just the youngness. But when you have Quentin Reese, a guy that's played quite a bit for us, is a leader. Obviously, Kenny Charles is a leader, has played quite a bit. But we have a lot of new faces that we had to bring in because of what we mentioned earlier. And so those two guys have to really be great leaders for us. I tell you somebody that I think has had a great spring in camp for us, Tyron Dupree, who got named a captain. He's really done a fantastic job for us as far as leading and being a leader there in the locker room. And we've got a good group. I think there's a lot of talented guys, but just to some unproven, and that's got to be the biggest, to me, is the biggest question mark. Not that we don't have the talent, we do. Just when things don't go well, hey, are we going to keep striking? And that's going to be my biggest concern.
Coach, heard a lot about Bryce Dixon and the challenge you guys put him through during the spring and summer to maybe trim down, get in better shape, and it looks like the sophomore from Charlotte is starting to really come into his own, maybe.
I think he is. He had a really a good summer, and he was a question mark coming out of the spring as far as the complete buy-in and, hey, do you really want to be good? And this spring, after the spring through the summer, his training, and this fall camp, he's arguably probably had the best fall camp of anybody as far as just being consistent. And we've been pleased with him. He's got all conference type ability. He's a guy that could do that. He's got that type of ability, and he needs to play well for us because that's obviously if we can play well up front, then that allows those linebackers that haven't played as much and some of those secondaries that played much, they get a little cushion. And so, but I've been really pleased with Bryce.
When it comes to inexperience and how much you may want to put pressure or send a safety blitz, just for example, how do you take baby steps or spoon feed maybe a defense to get them ready for opening day?
Well, I think the biggest challenge is coaches, you feel like you can scheme up, anything, and there's things, hey, I want to do this versus this opponent to really work, but you always have to ask your question is, can we execute it? Because it might look great on paper, but if we can't execute it and you give up big plays, then it doesn't work. And so that's been the fine line for us is what can we do and do well? And maybe we're not doing as much as we want to do, but those guys that what we can do, they're going to do it as fast as possible and play as confident as possible. That's been our biggest goal with our group in general, but defensively is, hey, maybe we have to be a little bit more simpler right now, but what they do know, they're going to be able to play fast and hard. And I do think we have guys over there that if they are confident what they're doing, that we have some really good talented players. And so that's been the biggest for our coaching staff is doing enough to where you are complex, but keeping it still simple so our guys can play free.
How about having the designation co-coordinators? How do you work that through your coaching staff, and what does that mean on a particular down situation, red zone, et cetera, offense and defense?
Well, typically when you have maybe offensively a guy's over the run game, a guy's over the pass game, right? There's obviously one guy calling it, but throughout the week they're emphasizing, hey, what's the runs that we can do, and the other guys emphasize what's the passes we can do, and then they talk and get everything organized, and one guy's calling it throughout it. From a defensive standpoint, typically when you have a coordinator that's like a D-line coach, well, he spent a lot of time with the front guys. Maybe he's not in the secondary as much, so you need somebody that with the secondary and makes sure everything mixes and matches. And so that's how those guys will work together. We'll have one guy that's calling it, no doubt, but there's throughout the whole week preparation, and then obviously on game day the communication to make sure that they're calling the things that we need to go out and execute.
Couple more minutes with head coach Jamey Chadwell. Liberty hosting Bowling Green, the season and home opener for Liberty coming up on Saturday, 12 noon. And special teams-wise, talked a little bit about who you have coming back. You're breaking it in. Maybe not some new names, but from a snapping standpoint, Austin Turner will get a look. Let's look at your special teams and kind of where that is. If you have to kick, you never know what's going to happen in games, regardless of what team it is around the country.
Correct. Austin Turner's done a great job for us of solidifying the long snapper and the short snapper position. I thought through the spring, we really challenged him to get himself in better shape and put himself in a position to be viable, and he's done a great job of that. Max Morgan has solidified our punting position and our kickoff. Our question mark now is who's the backup kickoff guy, and then who are we trotting out there with field goals right now? And that's the biggest question mark. I think we've got three. Really, I think we do have some talented guys there. There was just some inconsistency in the different things that we did, and you've been at practice. You probably saw some of those things. And the main thing is I don't expect us to make every one of them, but when we get inside a certain yard line, you hope our percentage is high enough that we can come away with points. And so we've got three young men there that Nick Brown, Braden Beck, Tegan Linder. I always screw his name up. Tegan.
There you go.
Yeah, and those three are competing, right? They're competing, and it's been we think it's been this one guy, and then the next 2 days he'll sort of have a bad day. And so, our plan right now, we between myself and Coach Krantz, special teams, we have a plan who we're going to trot out there first.
Yep.
But we're not telling them so they don't get nervous.
Yes, sir. How about return game? Again, the depth chart is online. What have you seen, and who's returning some punts and kicks for you?
Brylan Green will be our punt returner. He did a great job of being consistent. The main thing, you hope you have somebody explosive, but you want to get the ball back. And that's the main thing. We trust him back there to make great decisions and to catch the ball and do a good job. And then our kick return, Aaron Bedgood, will be our starting kick returner. Him and Corey Jones will be our two deep guys back in the back there that we think will make best decisions for us and hopefully help us, hopefully create some big explosive plays. But the main thing anytime you're on that side, the number one goal is to get the ball back and not give it to them. So we wanted to put guys back there that we could trust.
Got a minute or two maybe for a question or two from the fans. I know we have one fan that was going to ask a question. Caleb is a student and from the Norfolk area, Tidewater. So, Caleb, what's your question for Coach?
Ooh.
Get away from the speaker. Sorry, but there's a lot of feedback there. My fault.
Hey, Coach, I remember your introductory press conference in the winter, and you had mentioned that when you were playing at Liberty University as an opposing coach, the Liberty students somehow found a way to get the phone number of your sideline. What's it going to be like having that on your side now?
They did do that. They also created a fake profile for our quarterback's girlfriend, and he thought he was dating somebody, and it was a Liberty student. So They've been tremendous.
Yep.
That did happen. And our team's looking for all of our returners have told us how great our student body is. And how awesome they are in the stands. And our coaches remember the ones that played here before or coached here before. We remember that. We remember getting called and saying, hey, you want Domino's pizza or whatever it was. And so Mellow Mushroom pizza. And I know how awesome our student body is. I can't wait till I get a chance to speak with them tomorrow at Convocation. And we want every one of them here because we want our home games to be the best home field advantage in this country, in this conference in this country, and our students can do that for us. And I know as a coach, I can't wait to run out and see all the jokers out there.
Coach, final thought here. Haven't really talked about Bowling Green, but that's the opponent coming up on Saturday. Just a quick thought or two, and then we'll let you get out of here.
I think they're very physical. They're gonna try to really run it down our throats. They've been tremendous on special teams, top 10 in the country, and 2 out of 4 of the special teams. And then defensively, they were top 5 in sacks. And so I think they've got they've got elite players at sort of every level. And they're a physical team, a traditional MAC team, what you would think of, and we're going to have our hands full. We have to match their physicality if we're going to have a chance to win the game, and we just can't let them beat us on special. We have to win the game on special teams as far as not giving them extra opportunities there. It's going to be a great game, and we need all our fans there to cheer us on.
That's head coach Jamey Chadwell. Coach, appreciate your time so much
Thank
here
y'all.
tonight, and look forward to each and every Thursday night being here out at Mellow Mushroom. That'll wrap up our show here today for head coach Jamey Chadwell, Brent Jenkins from Freedom First Credit Union, and our entire staff and audience here at Mellow Mushroom. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be right back here next Thursday night, 7 o'clock, as we talk about New Mexico State in Week 2. But first off, Bowling Green, Saturday, 12 noon kickoff. You can watch it on CBS Sports Network. Better yet, come to Williams Stadium. Get your tickets at lufootball.com. And we'll also have the radio broadcast beginning at 10:30. Stop by the IPF. My favorite part, Coach, before kickoff is the walk.
Looking forward to it. Yeah.
That is a new tradition we've done 4 or 5 years, and that is my favorite part of pregame.
We're
so looking forward
to
that. So
Flames.
There you go. Flames. Let's do that again. Flames.
Flames.
There you go. That's a new thing. We say flames, you say flames right back, and light them up and strike the stone, right? All right. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Go Flames, and we'll see you Saturday, Williams Stadium, 12 noon for Liberty football.
You've been listening to the Liberty Flames Football Show on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. The Liberty Football Show is presented by Freedom First Credit Union. Start banking with Freedom First today. The Liberty Football Show was also brought to you by Carter Bank and Trust, the preferred community bank of Liberty Flames Athletics. Earthright Mid-Atlantic, your trusted solar and energy efficiency experts. By Foster Fuels, providing reliable service for 100 years. Freedom Heating and Air, serving those who serve us. Carl Miller Realty, caring, competent, trusted advisors. The North American Mission Board, learn to live your life on mission through a GenSend experience. And by Sentry Exteriors, experience and quality you can trust. Schedule a free estimate at sentryexteriors.com. The Liberty Flames Football Show, presented by Freedom First Credit Union, has been an exclusive presentation of the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.